What's up guys, Stock Picks by Tim here. Please excuse my grogginess, I woke up, I'm still trying to get my coffee in me. But in this video, we're going to go over earnings whispers, look at the earnings coming out today as of this upload, Tuesday. And we're also going to look over a couple of stocks, give you my thoughts there. And if you don't mind hitting the like and subscribe, I definitely appreciate it. And I do put out daily videos. And also don't forget to check out the links below for some free crypto and stocks. And check out BlockFi's credit card, I use it all the time, it's the only credit card I use. Now let's start off here with some earnings. Now, I'm here on Earnings Whispers, and you'll see here that today we've got some big names reporting. This may be part of the reason why stocks have been kind of selling off today, at least in terms of small caps. And looking at Microsoft, Alphabet, Visa, these are going to be the three big ones you're going to want to watch out for. You're going to want to go to their investor relations. So you're going to just type the name of the company, type IR, and you'll find the investor relations. Go to events and presentations, and then you're going to find the webcast or the conference call. And listen to their actual earnings call. It'll give you a lot of information. Sometimes numbers come out and it causes a huge sell-off or a huge run-up, and then it suddenly turns around once people actually listen to the earnings and see what future guidance gives us. So definitely stay tuned for earnings. It'll give you an idea of what's going on, what to expect in the market moving forwards, what to possibly expect with some of these large cap names that are going to be reporting earnings moving forwards. And as for another interesting name on this list here, I'd say Texas Instruments. This will give us an idea about the semiconductor industry and shed a little bit of color there. Stay tuned for Texas Instruments as well. Now getting into the first stock I wanted to mention here, ChargePoint, CHPT. This one has been continuing to sell off. It's obviously in this just downward trend here, but watch for it to develop this $14 area as a support. We did have a support there previously, kind of touched it there and bounced off. Now as for ChargePoint, their earnings should be coming, I'd expect, in about a month or so. But you'll notice the RSI is nearing the oversold point, not there yet. MACD looks like it's in for another curl downwards, a little bit bearish. We've got some red candles coming in, and we're unable to hold over the EMAs, continuing to be a falling knife. However, to see if this holds support, we're going to have to trade sideways for a bit to prove that. That's just short term though. Long term, I'm extremely bullish on ChargePoint. I see it as a great time to add in. And if you're very long term on this, I'd say it's a good average in while it's under 20, just to continue kind of chipping away at it. I am very bullish on this company. They're the largest EV charger in North America. They're expanding to Europe. We've been seeing revenue just increase quarter after quarter after quarter consistently. And I know this is anecdotal evidence, but I've seen ChargePoint chargers popping up all over my city, all over the surrounding cities. Those are definitely the chargers that are definitely most out there, that I see the most in terms of when I look around. Occasionally I'll see some Volta chargers, some EVgo's, some Electrify Americas, stuff like that, but majority of them I will see ChargePoints. I see ChargePoints all the time, specifically, you know, in Napa, Vallejo, American Canyon. And I'll leave you guys a link to this here. You do have to pay if you want to get the complete report, but you can get a sample report here. And it just kind of goes into like the trends, growth, demand, development of the EV industry. And it goes into charging stations. But I'll leave you guys a link below if you want to check it out. All right, next up, looking at AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. This one has been playing perfectly ever since it broke 100. It's been great for those breakouts to the downside. Same thing again. We broke 88 down to 86. A great little quick scalp. Obviously not much, but it is what it is. You can get your couple points, get in and get out. Now looking at it on the RSI, we're oversold. Bouncing from oversold, trying to bounce back up. The MACD does look like it's starting to curl. However, the candles are still bearish. We may fall further. Keep an eye on this. If we break this 86 area, obviously we're likely to fall further. I wouldn't necessarily go with the short here because it's very likely to bounce off 85 potentially. I would wait and see what it does personally. I would wait and see what it does personally. Although to the upside, if it does break 91, you could go in with a call and just scalp it, go in with a quick breakout trade, in and out on a call. Now, if you're not trying to play options with either direction on this one, I do think it's great for an add-in. And let's face it, it really wasn't in this price for almost 2 years now. This was actually the area where I was buying it. I was buying this in the 70s and 80s. It has since ran up to 140. I sold it in the low hundreds, took my profit, haven't touched it since. Always have seen it when it comes to $100 as a great time to add to it. And this is no difference. And now is an even better opportunity while it's in the 80s. Having said that, it's definitely possible we touch 80. You know, it's definitely possible. Although I see it as a great time to average through. If we touch 80, so be it. I see it as a great time to add if you're looking out multiple years, personally. So there's definitely multiple ways to play AMD. You can play it on some short-term breakouts, or you can play it long term. And in the end, I'm extremely bullish on this semiconductor industry. You know, more and more things are just needing chips. That's the way technology is going. It's quite obvious. And keeping the semiconductor theme alive, we have here INDI, Indi Semiconductor. I'm extremely bullish on this company. We've been consistently seeing higher lows, you know, just slowly but surely We're developing this point here. We might see a nice W. We kind of had one here, but we might see another double bottom here before we pick up. This is coming up to earnings, so there is a little bit of pessimism with this one, a little bit of fear, a little bit of uncertainty, but I'm extremely bullish on it, and executives have said that they're expecting the upper end of the revenue guidelines. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And let me show you guys an article here that just came out. And apparently I'm past my free article limit, but it basically touches on that Indi's only 4 times its 2023 revenue targets. The company is already expecting to beat Q1 2022 financial targets, and Indi does have a huge backlog sitting at about $2.6 billion and expected to grow. So I'll leave you guys a link to this one below. Maybe you didn't reach your article limit for the day. Check it out. All right, next up, we've actually got some recent news for Clsk, and this is in terms of them raising $35 million in equipment-backed debt. So they're using their equipment as collateral, essentially. And as said by the CFO, we intend to continue our efforts in obtaining non-dilutive capital to finance our growth, and that debt capital is currently the lowest cost of capital available to the company. I'd assume that they are still selling their Bitcoin. We'll see on a mining update in a couple days, guys, so make sure you subscribe to that. I will be giving you guys an update on that. But I personally see this as a good thing that they're not diluting us. Short term, it's, I guess, technically still a negative. They're still, acquiring more debt, so that's not the best thing. But looking at it long term, how do you think they're gonna continue to expand and continue to scale, continue to grow? You know, of course, this Lancium deal, this is gonna cause potentially some dilution, more debt. But just seeing this, you know, I'm okay with this. I'm happy that they're not diluting us shareholders. Although if they were to do that to a small extent, I would be okay with that, but not at the current stock price. And I'm hoping that they feel the same way. And I wouldn't want to see this company do any dilution until we were potentially up to 15 and above. Because if they were to dilute, think about this, if they were to dilute here, they're getting less capital and having to dilute even more for the money they could raise. And looking at Clsk on the chart here, it has been dropping like a falling knife. We are very, very oversold. The most oversold we have been in... This is the most oversold we have been in August, actually. Now, their earnings is coming in the beginning of May, so this could be why there's a little bit of fear coming into this one. Also, the fact that Bitcoin just dumped into the market from about 40 down to 38. I said that we would likely trade from about 9 to 750. Sure enough, we're under 750. I personally don't expect us to come down very much more. Now, we did have a resistance point right here, right about where we're at, so we'll see if this one holds up. I personally see it as an extremely great deal to buy. I mean, we're so oversold, the most oversold we've been since August. Earnings is coming up. I expect their revenue to increase. Their revenue should be about 50 to 55 million. That's what I expect. I mentioned that in a previous video. All you have to do is basically go into their mining update, see how much Bitcoin they sold, what price, add that all up, and that should give you the revenue minus their energy side of things, which is usually about 4 to 8 million. So that's how I gathered about 50 to 55 million for their next revenue expectation. So we'll see. Their earnings is coming up very soon, so hold me to it. Alright guys, now looking at Ford here, you'll see that we kind of developed this base around $14. We kind of reached a resistance of about 15. I personally think we're going to not do a whole lot until earnings. We're kind of just going to chop around here, I'd expect. But their earnings is coming up very, very soon. Keep an eye on Ford. I see it at this area as a great time to potentially DCA. And this has fallen quite a bit from its roughly $25 top. And I did want to mention that today they did start their production of the electric version of the F-150s, their Ford Lightning. And I'm actually extremely interested in one. I would love to buy one. And as a side note, guys, look at this. EVs are a small fraction of the global car market, accounting for sales of 9%. So 9%, you mean to tell me 1 in 10 vehicles is an EV now? I didn't know. That's insane to think. Imagine where we'll be at in 2025. Are we going to be 20, 30, 40% EVs are sold per year? I'd argue that this trend is going to continue. There is going to be more and more EVs on the road. And this seems to be the direction things are going. I mean, why would you get a gas-powered vehicle when you could eventually get an EV that can hold something like 500 miles of range potentially down the road? With ICE vehicles, you're about the max you can do. Everything that can be done has been done. With EVs, we're still in the process of getting better batteries. Things will get better and better as the industry evolves. And then soon, you know, who knows? We might see a 1,000-mile car one day. But I'm the first to say it. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you got any value out of this, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And until next time, guys, take it easy.